We're moving up a gear with this one. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as it's part 3 of the Panasonic NV-V8000. You remember in previous videos we retimed the deck, got that working, retimed and sorted out the front loading system and got that working, although the cassette doesn't quite sit properly, so there's something still not quite right there. And with the deck itself as well, it wasn't quite putting the tape fully up on one of the posts. So can't remember which one now off the top of my head, but we'll investigate that as well. And I say we'll investigate it because, quite honestly, I think we probably will fix it with what we're going to do in this video, and that is look at this capstan issue. The capstan is jammed solid, and I do have a bit of an idea of what might have happened to it. Capstan motor itself is actually buried under all of this, so all of this has to come off, and it needs to be retimed obviously afterwards, but yeah, it's not an insignificant job. So yeah, let's crack on. So yeah, this has been on the bench for a couple of weeks now, and I've just been looking at it. I just have not had enough time to devote to getting this sorted. Busy time of year with Christmas and everything, with work. So I find anyway that I need to dedicate an hour at a time, sort of undisturbed hour at a time, to dedicate to working on this type of machine. So yeah, just remove 2 machine screws, same length. There's another one there. There isn't. So obviously the first time I've ever taken one of these apart. We've got a clip there. Actually, before I take that clip off, I've just thought it might be an idea to actually get this into the furthest VHS-C position for timing. Just seems to make sense to do that. So yeah, I'll do that next. Okay, so that's not strictly true. Actually, I've just lined it up to the alignment hole. So there's a little mark here on the plastic gear. I've lined it up with that. So it isn't VHS-C mode, but it's in sort of like parked mode then. One thing I do notice, the alignment here is fine. The alignment on here, I think, is 1 tooth out, and that would explain the lace up not quite being correct. I seem to remember it was the center guide that comes up that wasn't quite getting where it should be. So yeah, we'll see, but obviously taking all this apart is gonna really help. So let's just lift this up. I haven't quite got the right tool for this, so I'm going to just lift that up slightly with a screwdriver, and then I can get underneath the clip. And I do actually have replacement clips if I break this one. I shouldn't do, to be honest. So that's that. I should be able to remove this like so. Move that out the way. Then we've got this gear, this massive gear here. Timing wise, let's just have a look. Okay, so what I've done is I've put a timing dot in here. This whole assembly is going to lift up, so I don't have to worry about taking that gear off. So let's get the screws out. And these appear to be the same. No, they're not. They're smaller in every way, slightly thinner, I think. Yes, they are. So 3 of those. Maybe when you get to the capstan motor, I am very, oh, I'll say 3 of those, actually 4. Not too sure on timing on this. I'm going to knock anything out, it's only going to be that one. Like I said, I've put a dot there, and there is a timing mark there, which you can't see, probably. But there it is. Ah, it's not what I thought it was going to be. So my thought was that the centre of this might be plastic, and it's not. So yeah, let's get this out. This should come out complete with the top assembly. So it looks to be 3 black screws. And will this lift up now? Is there anything on the other side of the deck, I wonder? Obviously there's something going on there. Well, the capstan motor's out. It doesn't have washers. I'm thinking of Sony, because Betas, they have a washer at the bottom and the top. This has none. So, well, I assume. I mean, if someone's had this apart before, maybe it does. But, yeah, nothing's come adrift. So, I can't see anything obviously wrong with this. I can pull this away easily. Everything looks pretty good. So I wonder if it is just purely just wear on the top adjuster, which could be quite interesting because there's a little bit of like a ferrite core to it, but I can't see that that's. It's got a little dent in it, and I've turned it over anyway, so that's fine. I just can't understand why this capstan motor is dragging on its coils. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, obviously it's locked solid now because it's not being this isn't being pressed down, but I don't understand why that should be the case. You know, everything checks out okay. I mean, the other thing I was wondering is if there was any contamination, but there isn't. Everything is absolutely fine. So, yeah, bit of a weird one. So let's put this back in. And you sort of have to manipulate it a bit as it goes back in. We'll put this adjuster back on because this adjusts the height of the capstan itself to give it the clearance to turn. So yeah, let's put this back on and just see what it does. Ooh, I have a rotating capstan. So something else is jamming it. Gosh, darn it. You can hear that, that's just grinding a little bit. So that's now fine. So what was fouling it? I didn't see anything drop out in the way of plastic, but yeah, I think that could do with just a little bit of lubrication as well. So I should just be able to pull this out now and it'll be fine. Obviously the little bit of metal drops, so just have to watch that, but yeah, when I put this back in, it should hopefully just relocate. So yeah, super. I just put a tiny bit of PTFE grease on there. It's not really what I would have liked to have used, but it'll be fine. And literally, rather than spray it on, I just sprayed some onto actually a bit of paper. It's not the best. Used a screwdriver blade just to put a tiny bit all the way around, and effectively give it a clean as well. I've not shifted anything, he says. Carefully drop that down. It's all looking good. Timing mark is fine. So part of me is very inclined just to double check the timing on this again. They're all the same type of screw, but one is shorter. So I'm just going to take it steady as I screw these in, because I should feel the end of the travel. I think it's actually, which you can't see, the screw here is going to be the short one, maybe. So it looks like 3 of them are this longer length, 1 of them is a shorter length, and the shorter length one goes in this corner here, which I know you can't see. Unfortunately, I'm a bit limited on space at the moment still. It's just been so crazy. I have so many Chromebooks and laptops in at the moment, and as crazy as it sounds, you don't do them like before Christmas because, well, up to a cut-off point. So I've been whizzing to do lots and lots of them, get the invoices in, and then you stop because basically schools have no budget, and you're not going to get paid, and they're on holiday for 2 weeks. So yes, anyway, so I need to put this back. This will self-locate anyway because of the pattern in the gear. Okay, so I was just going to do that, and what I said before about lifting that gear, that's sort of wrong. What I need to do is actually align it from here, lift this gear up, move this to the right position, then retime that, and all should be good. But just checking this capstan, and it's jammed. I think it's something going on under here, which is a bit odd, because at the end of the day it's just a plate. I can't see it's the damper because it's, I mean, it's not doing anything. I do wonder if I'm maybe looking in the wrong place. Oh. it's that. It's that that's catching it. Why would that be? What do I do? Do I just bend that up? Do I bend it out the way? It doesn't look distorted in any way. It's not like someone's pressed down on it inadvertently or whatever. But if I put this back on, turn this, or try to. Yeah, see, it's catching on there. I mean, the only other thing is has the outer rim swelled? Because I have known that, but I don't think so. It just seems wrong to do it, because they're obviously there for a reason. Well, they are there for a reason, aren't they? So they're both going to have to come off. But I just wonder if maybe this has swelled a bit over time. It's quite a big ridge there. And I have known them do that, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. But yeah, anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break these off and take it from there. I don't think I have much choice really, because this ride height is right. It seems a big gap, but you see, I'm comparing this to Beta, and Beta tolerances are just that little bit closer. So yeah, I'm going to give that a whirl. I think at the end of the day, that is not going to make a huge amount of difference, taking those off. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I have broken those off and not distorted anything, so you have to watch for that. You don't want to be distorting this plate. So let's put it on. And that's it, that's rotating. And it's fine. Okay, well, I'm happy with that, I suppose. I really don't like modifying stuff like that. But I just think with age, it must have just swollen slightly, the actual magnetic material around the outside. Okay, well, yeah, well, I'll take that. I think what I would like to do next is actually retime this again, just this bottom bit of the deck. I seem to remember I didn't do much over here. It was all here and here, and getting the top right, which should all be okay anyway. I just have to make sure that this times up with that section. So it's just literally this bit and these arms, the lacing arms, guides, just make sure they are all in sync. And like I say, I think I'm 1/2 out on here. I can't remember if I fiddled with that or not, but yeah, let's get it right. So we'll do that next. Okay, so probably a couple of weeks on now, and I did have a little bit of trouble retiming this, partly because I didn't want to totally retime the deck. Just doing a partial retime can sometimes be harder because the deck itself was in fully unlaced, unloaded position, but the timing puts it into semi-loaded. Yeah, it's just with the tape sort of in the half load position. So I had to get everything in the right position, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to do it all again and blah blah blah. Anyway, after a couple of goes, I've got it timed perfectly, and I mean absolutely perfectly. Everything lines up nicely. A bit of a tip: when you're sort of locking the various gears, there are holes in some of them, like here, and also the tape lacing and the heads. make sure the shaft of whatever you're putting in really is quite a snug fit, and it just makes it much more accurate, because just that little bit of movement on the gear is enough to knock it one tooth out. So yeah, definitely worth doing that. But yeah, everything went back together fine. No clips left over. I did have one, I forgot to put the one on under here, but yeah, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, we've got storm Isha coming through at the moment, so it's probably going to be quite noisy. But anyway, I'm going to put this panel back on, and I think we're just going to give it a test, because I know the timing's right. So yeah, anything else, it's something else. Also need to put in the ribbon cable for the capstan, so yeah, let's do that now. So it's probably going to be really noisy, sort of background noise, because we've got Storm Isha coming through tonight, and it is really noisy, so apologies for that. But I've just discovered I can't go much further until I do something about this. You can see it is missing its little plastic holder, which basically keeps the integrity of the connections there, and I don't remember it ever being there, and I can't see it anywhere. So I think somebody else has looked at this with this capstan issue, pulled these out, and broken it. Sort of broken the tabs. This one, some of the metal is actually breaking away from the plastic as well, so I'm going to have to fix that, because pushing that in, you can't guarantee it's actually going to make contact. Now, the one side of the connector this goes into on the capstan motor, that is actually bi-directional and go either way. But this one is only one way. So I've worked it out relative to the fold. I mean, I can fold it the other way if I have to, but I'd rather not. I've put back on the where the plastic needs to be on, so the plastic actually goes on this side. Now my plan is, I've never done this before. Previously I've managed to find another ribbon cable, and that may still have to happen. But my idea is, I managed to find a suitable piece of plastic. I've actually cut this to size. It's actually the bottom of a fresh lasagna sheet packet. I've pushed it into the connector very carefully, and it's a perfect sort of thickness, and should be okay. Cleaned it with isopropyl oil as well, so yeah, just cut the right amount off, and we should be good to go. You see, that pretty much does the job. And I'm going to use super glue. It's one of those things, it's a one chance to get this right, so I do really have to get this right. So I'm going to rebuild this side first, I think. And I'm going to basically put the super glue on here, it's a blob of it, and then carefully lift up each one of these, put a tiny dab of super glue, and then push the contact back down. So yeah, let's crack on. Well, so far so good. That seems to have glued okay. I've not contaminated the metal much, but I can scrape that off once that's fully set. So let's have a go at this other side. So I won't be able to see this at all because I can barely see it. I'll I'm gonna have to be pretty accurate with this. I used Loctite gel on the other side, which might not have been the best stuff to use. Let's make sure I don't glue it to the card. Although at this stage I don't mind it going wrong, because I can always cut out some more plastic. Yeah, the Loctite actually dries without being in contact. Oh, why do I think this is going to go horribly wrong? So that's on. I've got it right to the end, and that seems to be working. Okay, it glues super quick, this Gorilla glues super glue, which is a bit of a double-edged sword, because if I got it wrong I placed it incorrectly, but I've actually got it perfect, which is really very lucky. Could have done with going a little bit longer, but I still think that'll be fine. It's not quite the width of the ribbon, but that should be fine as long as I'm careful when I put it back that I do line it up. This side is fine, this side isn't maybe quite so, but yeah, I think I can get away with that. But yeah, I'll leave it just to fully do what it needs to do, and then we'll put it back in and see how we get on. Ribbon cable seems to be all good. I think we might have got away with it. It was a bit crunchy putting it in this end. This is the end with the manufactured plastic, but well, we'll see. It's it's never going to be easy repairing one of these cables, so yeah, let's give it a test. Okay, so let's power it on. Moments of truth. And so that's so far so good. Let's turn it on. Yeah, this has not gone well. The one arm here has not retracted. The other one has, but this one has not. Why is that? Not a good start. Okay, well, I don't know quite what happened there. It's almost like it's not quite right, but I know I timed it well, so I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it. Okay. Still having a capstan movement. Yeah, so I have to turn it off. Just try. Yeah, so I still have no fast forward. I have rewind, but it's noisy, but that's because of something wrong with the front loading system. But I still have no capstan. I just wonder. Yeah. And it's still not pushing that up right the way to the end as well. It's just, I just think I've got broken bits of plastic. Oh, it's now not. Yeah, it's not putting the tape in now. Oh. Yeah, so the front loading system is not helping. Let's try pressing play with that in. Yeah, you see that. That's loaded now. So the problem is it's excessive tension put on the cassette, on the tape rather, due to the front loading system not properly seating down properly. So it is just that capstan that's at the minute causing me the most grief. If I can get that going, then we can look at this front loading system again and we should be good to go, but it is not it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. So another day or so on, and I'm suspecting I might have a bad capstan drive chip, but before we look at that, I was actually quite lucky. You might have noticed that this actually got stuck in the fully loaded position. So yeah, and it seems that even though it's got some good movement on it, when it's pushed right up to the furthest extent of its travel, it's jamming. It's jamming down here. So I'm going to take that off. Take off the split washer clip on there. So I'll take that off. This one is absolutely fine. I seem to remember I did grease that before, and that one's actually on a nut and it's height adjustable, and you can actually get to it through there. So there, see it there. So yeah, it's actually not too bad. If these are common on Panasonics to seize, it happens on so many machines, decks going right back. I've had these jam. So yeah, I'm going to struggle to probably show this. So I'll just sort of do it and we'll take it from there. But like I said, I was lucky really I didn't knock the timing out, because it had jammed that first time when I put it back together, because you do it in the half wrap sort of section of lacing when you time it. It didn't pull back, it was stuck. So yeah, very, very lucky. So let's crack on. So that's back on. It was, when I took it off, you could feel it sort of like jamming on the spindle that's on, and now it's just really, really good, really free moving. So yeah, that's good. So now to see if this capstan motor drive chips had it. So the fun just keeps on going with this machine. There was something not quite right with the pinch roller. I'll cover that in a minute. But I forgot, taking off the pinch roller, I managed to knock this out of time. This comes up with it if you're not careful. You need to sort of just try and keep this from rising up on its shaft there. And if you don't, it'll come up and more than likely turn and then drop back down, and everything goes horribly wrong. I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to retime again. But you can actually cheat. What I've done is I've done the half lace. So you can see it's laced up for just as if the machine had just been taken out of standby. It's the timing place as well, how it times. And what I've done is I've wound it carefully, sort of going up and down with an Allen key until I've found the hole that goes through the gear underneath the deck. So that's dropped right the way down. And then what I've done, because I know this deck is in time, is I've timed, I can get in there to show you. I've basically turned the motor until the dot, which you probably can't see. Let's see if we can get some more lights. Yeah, you probably can just about see it. The dots at the top of that lower white gear is facing straight up. And I've done the same with the mode switch, so you can see the little sort of raised circular bit at the bottom of the mode switch is pointing straight down. Then on the actual pinch roller assembly, I've got a black line. That black line, you can see it sort of goes over the hole there as well. There is actually a score in the plastic, so it's quite easy to do. I don't know whether it came with that. But yeah, drawn a line there. That line needs to match up with that little raised pin or pip on the mode switch, and that will be retimed. So I'm just going to put that back together now. I'm debating whether I probably will put the pinch roller back on. Almost feel like writing a note. Be careful when you remove the pinch roller. But yeah, so I'll do that, and then I'll fill you in on everything else I've discovered. Okay, so the bad news is I think this machine might be cobbled together. By that, what I mean is, I think several mechanical parts in this have been taken from other machines and swapped out of this machine to get those going. And I don't know why, I should have checked it first thing really. It does look as if the heads have been off this. I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm confident they have, because that's really blobby solder. And while I was sort of checking a few things through, I noticed there was a mark. It's really difficult to see. Somewhere there, I'll put a picture up of it close up, and I thought, what's gone on there? Because it's actually a ridge. It's not like it's gone in. It's come out from inside the drum, and that's not normal. I wouldn't expect that. So I thought, well, I tried. I mean, we've still got capstan problems, and I'm pretty convinced that capstan driver chip is shorted as a result of that ribbon cable being broken. But that had been pushed in with the broken plastic missing, that sort of broken backing. So really weird. Why would you do that? So yeah, that really confused me. But I think it's actually damaged the bottom board, or that bottom board is not original to this machine, and that could well be the case, because yeah, it didn't seem to fit particularly well, like it hadn't been mounted very well. I don't know, but I thought then I'll check the heads. So I've checked the heads, and I'll put pictures up of each of the each sets of heads. And I think there's only one head chip left. This head drum is well and truly shot. So then of course we had the thing with the pinch roller. I mean, the plastic was cracked on the pinch roller. That could happen, but I just wonder if that's been swapped over. And also, I think there's a bit of broken plastic on the on it as well, which is why it's sort of not always engaging properly, because the one part of the plastic assembly keeps coming away. So yeah, and like the front loading system, totally out of time. Deck totally out of time, which I sort of understand. Maybe if there was something with the capstan, but I think somebody swapped out the capstan motor because that outer magnetic ring had swelled and was catching the metal, causing it to jam. So I don't know. What else? What else is going to be wrong with this machine? And it's not like parts are easy to get hold of, and it's not like scrap machines are easy to get hold of without paying stupid money. So at the moment, I'm really, really stuck. I mean, if anyone does have a scrap machine or scrap parts that could maybe help out with this, willing to pay for them, if they're not too expensive, and if the owner is happy to go with that, then that might be the way forward. But at the moment, I am totally just stuck with this machine. So yeah, I mean, the heads, it's a VH0467, and I know these are used on the FS90 and the FS200 as well. Now, they do have an FS200, which I will have a look at and just see what that machine's like. I bought it ages ago, never had a chance to look at it. So yeah, if it's really totally shot but the drum's good, maybe I could nick the drum from that. And likewise, maybe the capstan motor, maybe. I know I've broken those two metal tabs off, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but is it even worth doing? It's such a great machine. And I'd love to see it working. I'd so love to see this working. But with all those problems, and it's been butchered. It has been butchered. So yeah, so the capstan drive chips are BA6435S. They're easy to get hold of, about 15 quid, little diode. Sell them in the UK on eBay, genuine new old stock, loads of them. The pinch roller assembly, if it is bad, which I think it is, I can't find anything. It looks very similar to a G deck, as we've discussed in part one of this. It looks like it's the same, but it's not at all. This is quite a bit sort of chunkier, and works in a slightly different way. And obviously I nicked the peg to stop this pinch roller from falling off, but I don't know. It really grieves me to have to give up on this machine for now. But I'll put it back together. I'll have a chat with Joel. I feel just really bad as well because I know he's hurt himself. Had a slip, and it would have been nice to give him some good news, but yeah, and obviously I've had this a while as well, because the timing, that's the other thing with this. I've retimed this deck so many times to get it to the right timing. It's almost a bit sloppy, but I mean, I've got it perfect, which I'm really, really chuffed with. The front loading system, the problem with that sort of not dropping down, I think this just needs a bit of a grease. Again, it feels a bit sloppy, but I was finding the other night when I was sort of trying tape several times, and I went from C to full size on the cassette type as well. And once I'd done that a few times, then put cassette in, lovely and smooth. You barely heard it rewind, fast forward. It was really, really good. The take up, when this goes down properly, take up is absolutely fine. It's lacing fine. Everything's good. It's just what else has happened to it? You know, if this was good, and not from another machine, the screws for the drum have been cracked as well. So I think the whole drum's actually been swapped. I could be wrong. It's almost like, yeah, you don't like to say it, but it's almost like when you buy something on eBay as not working and you find out it's just a total machine of spare parts and broken bits from other machines made to look like a good machine. And that's what this sort of says to me. Such a shame. Really such a shame. It's like all the good bits have been nicked off this. Rubbish bits put in here. And then, yeah, it's been sold as parts only, £1,000 or whatever, because these go for big money. And yeah, it's such a shame when that happens. So yeah, if there is anyone out there that can help me out, that'd be fantastic. One other thing to say, I'm not taking any more repairs now. I love doing them. They're great. And they earn a little bit of money for the channel, although to be honest, it's really not worth me doing it. Because, you know, the amount I charge is nowhere near how much I can get on the IT repairs. And they can take several hours to get machines done, especially when I'm doing it for the channel. I know I get a tiny bit of revenue. I get something like what has been sort of like £70 every 4 months, which is terrible really. But the revenue from adverts from YouTube's gone way down again. It's about nearly 40% less, so it's probably going to be £70 every half year, because nobody watches my videos, which is fine. But yeah, so I'm going to stop doing the repairs for the foreseeable future, and any repairs I've got at the moment, I'll honour those, of course. But yeah, I just want to work on my own stuff. I've got loads of stuff that I'm aching to work on, and I'm just not doing it. So yeah, I want to get those done, and I want to clear some space as well. I'll be selling some stuff. But yeah, so sorry, long wordy bits at the end. But with that, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe as well. That would be fantastic. And watch some of the older videos as well. I know that the production is not great, and it's my hobby at the end of the day, which sort of has gone a bit crazy. But yeah. So hopefully I'll see you in another video, and bye for now.